Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Welcome to another episode of our podcast kung saan iniisa-isa natin ang mga Pilipino dito sa Canada at alamin natin kung ano ang kanilang mga storya. Pero syempre hindi lahat. Meron din tayong konting mga parameters kung sino yung mga i-guess natin dito. They don't have to be super famous. They don't have to be sikat. This is not a program for the stars, no? Ito po ay ang pag-focus natin sa storya ng bawat mga Pilipino na either lumipat dito sa Canada or pinanganak na dito and how their life stories are. So after a while, no, siguro in our podcast, you'll see it's like a chronicle of the stories of our vibrant Filipino community here. And with us today is Rodora Dorado.
Yeah.
And she's I actually have just met her today and it's so nice to meet you, Ro. You were referred to me by someone and that someone has very good things to say about you.
Oh my goodness.
Has the highest respects for you and I trust that person. So sabi ko kailangan yata ma-meet itong si Rodora. So thank you for coming.
And thank you for inviting me.
Tell us about you. What do you do? And so what are the things that occupy your day?
For sure. So, I'm an operations manager. Nagmamanage ako ng iba't ibang buildings. So, meron ako mga staff na nagre-report sa akin. I've been with this company for as long as I've been in Canada. Pero the funny thing is that when I started in this kind of business, I was a +1 to my husband kasi nahirapan kaming maghanap ng work at the time.
Sorry, so this is a real estate company you're working for now?
Yes.
Okay.
So
and
basically,
it's the biggest.
Landlord. So landlord.
Ano ang description? It's the biggest?
It's one of the largest landlord in Canada and we do have properties in Ireland as well.
So sabi mo nga kanina puro rental lang, no?
Yes.
Meron palang ganun. Akala ko lahat ng real estate companies may rental pero laging may sale. Meron palang parang
may
always
ibang part.
I guess tenancy, no? The leasing.
Actually, merong buy and sell part siya dati dahil meron kaming properties sa US. So, mga mobile home communities. Bali, third-party manager kami doon.
Right.
And then, yun yung type na yung mga mobile home. Tumira ako sa mobile home with my family. Oo. So, binibenta yon. Tapos, ang ginawa namin doon, kaya ako napunta doon with my boss at the time is sinwitch namin yung industry from buy and sell to rental. So, parang ipinattern ko yung processes ng Canada.
So you were there during that shift of the company.
Yes.
And you were, I guess, instrumental in making
operations specialist ako. So yung properties are in Arizona, Colorado, Michigan, and Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you already have a high position there. But it didn't start out that way. Magsimula na lang tayo dun sa simula ng storya mo.
Yeah, for sure.
When you went here to Canada or even back in the Philippines, like how was it?
So basically in the Philippines, I can tell na maayos yung buhay namin because my husband, he was like an engineer. Ako naman, pharmaceutical representative ako. So we make good money.
Malaki kita nung pareho na yun.
So pagbalik namin, meron kaming mga nanny, di ba, na nakatira sa bahay. So hindi talaga ako yung typical na Filipino na homemaker and everything. So talagang career-oriented ako ever since. So coming here sa Canada with 2 young kids, it was very difficult kasi naranasan ko na mag-apply ng trabaho pati sa Dollarama. Wala akong callback. Kumbaga, I was like,
parang
my God.
Dollarama na lang, hindi pa ako tinawagan.
Exactly.
Oo.
Kasi part-time na kailangan ko
ng pride, ano?
Exactly.
Nakaka-crush ng pride.
The thing is that, binenta namin lahat doon, thinking na, isipin mo na lang yung mga bata. Because there's better opportunities sa Canada compared pa rin sa atin. So, I mean, there may be opportunities pero hindi ganun karami. So we pack up our things, binenta lahat,
but umutang. Specifically, what was the train of thought? What were you thinking na to give up all those things and to try it out in a foreign country?
Ayoko talaga. I mean, between my husband and myself, ayoko nang umalis kasi nandun yung family mo, nandun yung friends mo, nandun yung life ko, kumbaga. So, it was a very hard decision na iniisip na lang namin, okay, let's start something for the kids. So, yun lang yung parang nasa isip ko.
Bakit for the kids? Ano ba yung stage ng kids mo at that time?
So, well, nag-aaral sila at that time. Pero nakikita ko kasi na nung mga panahon na yun, ang hirap ng buhay, mahirap yung maghanap ng trabaho. And for some reason na kailangan you're at a certain age, you're from a certain good school para makakuha ka talaga ng magandang work.
Oo.
So,
may ganun kasi sa Pilipinas, yung status na who you know before you can enter certain industries. Well, basically all industries.
I know. So, coming here, talagang na-change lahat yon. Naalala ko, nagsasubmit ako ng resume, may picture pa. Sabi ng relative ko, uy, walang picture dapat, Don't put your picture. It's not necessary. Sabi ko, it was really different. Kasi nung nag-start nga kami, nakitira kami for 2 weeks sa relative namin. Pero syempre, hindi naman kami pwedeng apat kami. So, we move right away, nag-rent kami. Tapos, yung husband ko, meron siyang kind of experience sa US. Building superintendent siya. So, nung pagdating dito, natanggap siya ng trabaho. Medyo mahirap din kasi nag-construction siya, yung tipong pag-uuwi ng bahay, ang ganda ng outfit, nakaporma, pag-uwi niya, putik-putik.
Parang commercial ng bareta sa Pilipinas. Yung pag umalis yung asawa mo, maputi ang suot.
Actually, umiiyak siya pag uwi.
Oh
Tapos,
my gosh.
yayakapin na lang yung mga kids. Oh my God, nako.
Parang para sa inyo, kailangan niyang yakapin.
Yeah, until, sa tingin
Wait,
ko.
what year was this?
This was 2007, kakadating namin dito.
2007.
2007.
Both of you decided as a couple that
sabay kami lahat.
Better
even
to
the
do this.
Kids, kaming mag-asawa, lahat kami pumunta.
You had enough saving?
No.
Okay.
So, ang naalala ko, 3,000 lang yung pera namin. Tapos,
3,000 Canadian dollars. Okay.
Tapos, ang dami naming utang sa Pilipinas. Kasi di ba puro show money. So, yung mga interest na binayaran namin, whatever na nabenta namin sa Pilipinas, babayad namin. So, 3,000 lang yung pera namin. Nilakasan lang namin yung loob namin. Okay, renta tayo ng apartment. So, nakakuha kami $800 at that time.
Mahal na yun at that time.
Yeah. So, tapos, nakuha yung asawa ko nga na mag-work sa rental business, sa isang company rin.
Thanks to his US experience.
Exactly. So, +1 lang ako sa kanya. So, parang, sige, sa opisina ka, etong asawa mo siya yung gagawa ng mga trabaho dito. So, we work together sa isang building. But luckily, I think you really meet people dito na instrumental sa life mo. Kasi nung time na yon, parang natanggap ako sa ibang company, lilipat dapat ako sa ibang company. Tapos dumating tong mga grupo ng tao na pumunta sa building. Hindi ko alam na dun sila sa company namin ngayon, yung presidente namin, yung mga higher management. So, buyer pala sila nung building na yon. And then they invited me to join the company. And I never looked back since.
Paano kanila napansin?
So, nakakatawa kasi yung building na minamanage namin, medyo rough neighborhood siya. So, madami ka talagang makikita na mga tenant na, alam mo yun, yung parang hindi sila mayayaman, yung kung ano-ano lang sila, yung parang very, very rough sila. Pero napansin kasi nila na bawat unit na pinupuntahan namin, mabait sa amin. Sa aming family. So, gusto nila ako doon. So, because I always think na, if you treat people with kindness, you get it in return. Maybe not now, but later on, they will realize it. I believe in people's goodness.
Right.
So, in-invite nila ako sa company. And then, after a few years na hinire nila ako, I actually won an award for the company. So, it's a FERPO award. So, it's a Federation of Rental Owners across Canada, and I won the site manager award for them. And then start na yun nung career ko.
So ang galing din ng instinct nung kumuha sa'yo. I mean, right at that moment, they met you for the first time.
Yes.
Inikot mo sila sa building, nakita nila yung rapport mo with the tenants.
Yes.
And then they decided this girl has something. This has, and he made the right decision. He made the right decision.
I'm really happy na it happened that way kasi nung nag-start kami, hindi ko alam yung salt. So yung boss ko parang sinasabi
yung alin?
Sorry. Salt. Pag nag-snow,
Na
magpo-pour ng salt yung mga tao. So sabi nung boss ko pa noon, naalala ko, uy, sabi mo sa asawa mo maglagay ng salt dito sa ground. Sabi ko, kahit bilhin namin lahat ng salt sa No Frills, hindi yata enough para, i-cover yung ground. So it was funny kasi talagang wala akong alam about snow, Hindi talaga kami prepared.
Same. I was like, what salt are we talking about?
I know.
What about the pepper? What are we gonna do with that? Yeah.
Tapos, so naalala ko yun, yung mga baggy days na, hahatid mo yung anak mo habang, nagtatrabaho ka talaga. Tapos, bibili ka ng mga gulay dyan. Tapos, nalaglag pa yung gulay ko sa gitna ng kalsada. Tapos, sabi ko, yung oranges ko, nanghihinayang ako kasi mahal.
Oo.
So, madaming medyo nakakatawa talaga na experience, and syempre, very, very memorable din para sa akin kasi hindi kami nag-quit ng mister ko. Hindi kami nagtumigil na, mag-move forward.
Kaninong relative yung tiniran nyo?
Sa asawa ko. Sa asawa ko. So, pinsan niya.
Pinsan niya.
Pinsan niya. So,
you were there for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks. Tapos,
ang bilis nyo rin sarili.
Kasi, iba pa rin. Kahit family mo sila, iba pa rin yung pakiramdam na, may sarili kang space. Especially kung 4 kayo, may 2 maliliit na batang makukulit, diba?
Oo. At saka, kahit gaano sila kabait, yung feeling mo that you're imposing on them.
Exactly.
Diba?
Yung
Hindi
pressure.
mo naman gusto, na ganon. Pero bilib ako sa tapang yung mag-asawa. From leaving the Philippines to leaving that place in just 2 weeks.
Yes.
How quickly did he get his first job?
Actually, nagpaiba-iba pa yan. Nag-work pa siya sa mga factory noon na nakatayo sila the whole day.
Anong unang work
yung una, tinulungan siya ng kaibigan niya na pumasok sa parang construction company.
Oo, yun yung umuwi siya na madumi yung damit niya.
So, nag-aano daw sila nagle-lay sila ng mga rocks sa pool. So, gumagawa sila ng swimming pool. So, akyat baba siya. Ang ganda-ganda nung suot niya. Hindi niya ina-expect
engineer dati sa PLDT, no?
Hindi niya ina-expect na gano'n. So, sabi ko, kaya, pag uwi ng bahay na ko, nagyayakapan kami. Hindi bali, maghanap na lang tayo kasi ang daming application mo ng sinend. Yung parang naiiyak ka na kasi parang hopeless ka na eh. Ito na lang pera ko. Tapos, wala pa rin tumatawag sa akin for interview. So, hindi lang talaga kami nag-give up siguro. So, usually they say, it's who you know in this, country. Which is true. Kasi kapag may kakilala ka minsan, it's easier for you to get somewhere. And ako, for a fact, dahil ngayon nga hire na din ako ng mga tao, minsan kapag may recommended sa akin, talagang pinaprioritize ko din sila. Lalo na yung mga bagong salta sa Canada because I like giving people chances. Dahil alam ko kung paano maghirap ng simula. Like, like sa job ko, hindi ko siya na-achieve in an instant. I had to move 10 times. In my 10 years sa Canada, we moved 10 times, including moving my family sa US nga at that time. So 1 year lang yung gig ko doon, pero coming back was like the hardest kasi yun yung time na hindi ko alam, nagkakasakit na pala yung anak ko, nagda-drive kami pabalik. And then when we got here, kaka-rehire sa akin ng same company. Tapos for a month or 2, nasa ICU kami ng sick kids. Kasi nga, yung daughter ko na-diagnose siya at that time with lupus.
How old was she when she got diagnosed?
So, I think she was 13 or 14 at that time. So, hindi namin alam. Kasi dinala lang namin siya sa North York Hospital noon. And then, pag uwi ko kasi, sabi ko sa asawa ko, kamusta na si Layla? Sabi ko, kasi medyo hindi bumababa yung lagnat niya. Tapos, nung pag-uwi ko, nakita ko na, pag tatayo siya, parang wala siyang makita. So, sabi ko, soup lang, okay na. Sabi ko, anong soup lang? So, dinala namin sa North York General Hospital. Tapos, naandun kami. So, kinakabahan ako kasi alam ko na, galing ako sa pharmaceutical industry. Pag nakita kong marami ng doktor na nakapalibot dyan, something's wrong.
Iba-ibang specialista na hindi na makuha nung isa. Nagtatanong sa ibang.
Yes. So, nasa ER kami that entire time. Tapos, until nagkaroon nga ng nung ko lang nalaman kung ano ang orange ambulance. So it means it's a matter of
I don't know
life
what is
and
an
death.
Okay.
So it's critical situation. Kapag kumuha
Ganun
sila
ba?
ng...
Iba-iba bang, ano yan, actual color of the ambulance? You
Yes,
see? Or is
it's
it just
also called orange ambulance at that
Okay.
time. So tinransport siya. First time kung sumakay sa ambulance, ang bilis-bilis. From there hanggang sick kids, diretso sa ICU. So I'm very lucky kasi nga yung manager ko at the time, she was really, really good to me. Biruin mo, isang buwan akong hindi nagtrabaho. Pero yung sweldo ko na andyan pa rin, binigay pa rin. So I love this company so much dahil ganun sila mag-treat ng mga empleyado nila. Oh my God, Diyos ko po.
Hindi talagang,
Sorry,
ready
hindi ako
ako.
iiyak. Sabi ko, hindi ako iiyak. But yun nga, so makikita mo, so 2 months, hindi mo alam kung okay ba yung anak mo or not. So nasa ICU lang kayo the entire time. So very memorable sa akin ang Mother's Day all the time kasi yun yung time na nakalabas kami ng hospital. Oh my God.
It was Mother's Day when it happened.
Yeah, Mother's Day siya nakalabas sa sick kids. Naku, pagagalitan ako nun. Sasabihin niya, Mom, you make me look like I'm so sick. But that time kasi, iba yung, very strong yung daughter ko. She has the strongest, I think, personality. Na pag nakikita ko siya, parang, oh my God, tong batang to kung ano-ano nangyayari, but she's still strong. And I don't know where she's getting it from.
May pinanggalingan din yun.
You know what? Iniisip ko nga, so tayong mga Pilipino talagang we're resilient. So we put on a strong face all the time.
Ay, totoo yan.
But you go through a lot and no one really knows what's happening. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed actually.
Parehong iyakin nagsama. Ayan. Ako
Actually,
kasi... Okay.
It was worst kasi there was one time, alam ko nang may sakit yung anak ko. Tapos, yung lalaki ko naman, Christmas Day, nagbabasketball lang sa labas yan. Nabali yung knee naman niya. So, Christmas Day, nasa ospital kami, 4 hours siyang inooperahan. So, sabi ko, oh my God, bakit ba ganito? Laging merong nasa ospital, laging may nangyayari, alam mo yun? So, iniisip ko na lang, siguro, kapag lagi kang natatest ng ganito, it's because, you have the right personality, you have the right strength to handle them. So, ay, nako.
Kasi diba minsan yung mga challenges sa buhay, mga trabaho, mahirap lumipat, mahirap maghanap na walang ng pera, maraming utang. Kaya mo yun, pero pag minsan yung anak mo diba? Notice ko yan, yung nagpaiyak sa'yo, kinikwento mo yung life mo, pero yun talaga yung parang...
Iba na talaga pagka, pag yung kids mo, parang...
Do you mind just enlightening us? Kasi I have heard about lupus. We know about... well, actually, I don't know a lot about it. How is it like? Is it something that that you can cure?
Actually, wala siyang gamot. So they call it the disease of 1,000 faces because it could hit you in any part of your body at any given time. So basically, yung system mo, hindi niya na-identify yung sarili niya. So
yung immune system.
Yung immune system niya. So it's an immune system.
Autoimmune disease.
It's an autoimmune disease. So like si Selena Gomez, diba, pinalitan yung kidneys niya, nagkaroon siya ng kidney transplant, and it's because of lupus. So sometimes it could hit you there. It could,
but it could allow you to live a normal life.
Yes.
Okay. But what do you have to watch out for?
You know what? It will change your life, to be honest. Kasi marami kang hospital visits. Lagi kayong may treatment.
Monitoring.
Because yung daughter ko right now is an adult, she's able to go alone. Pero nung bata pa siya, lagi kaming nasa ospital, adjust ng medication, ano ba yung tamang So, nandiyan tataba yung mukha niya, nandiyan magkakaroon siya ng, blood na tumutulo na lang sa skin niya, na, alam mo yun, iba-iba. It's actually, what do you call this? Inflammation.
So pwede niyang ma-affect iba-ibang organs at different periods of time.
Yes. Yeah.
Merong dati na parang you can't be exposed to the sun or something
Yes.
about the sun?
So sometimes kapag lagi siyang may mga SPF, 60, SPF 50, pag lumalabas kasi sometimes yung exposure sa sun may effect din sa skin nila. Nagkakaroon siya ng irritation or maraming maraming mga bawal, kumbaga meron siyang pero believe ako sa kanya kasi nagpupunta yan sa gym every day. Yung kanyang determination to be strong is right there. So every time I see this kid, I'm like,
you're amazed at how
I don't know how you're doing it, but talagang idol kita. So parang ganun. So, she's very, very, strong.
Is she close with her brother also?
They are close. So, actually, nung bata sila, laging aso't pusa yung dalawang yan. Pero you can tell na they have the respect for each other. Halimbawa, actually nga, pag may sasabihin ako sa anak ko dati, yung sa lalaki ko, may iuutos ako, sasabihin ko, Leila, ikaw nga, sabihin mo nga kay Marcus gawin to. So, kasi nga, parang feeling ko, mas susundin niya yung ate niya kaysa sa akin, mas takot sa kasi very naman ako, hindi ako yung tipong namamalo, nananakit ng bata or what have you. So very, very easy.
Nakakatuwa rin yung dynamics. Iba-iba yung dynamics per family, So sa inyo, that's how it rolls. How old are your kids now?
Yung daughter ko is turning 23, yung son ko is 21.
So ate pala. Okay, so she's older than the boy. And what are they into now? What are they doing?
Actually, yung daughter ko is graduating ng pharmacy tech. And then yung son ko he's working right now. So actually nag-work na sila kaya medyo easy din ako sa bahay. So nakakapag-bakasyon kami. We went to Vegas the last time. And ang saya palang kasama kapag yung ganun na yung edad ng mga anak mo. So
yeah, I was telling my friends and some other people I chat with, I honestly enjoy the company of my kids. And sometimes when you go out, because there's a phase in motherhood where your life is really your family. And then they were saying, you should also have time for yourself. You should also go out. And when I think about it, I'm like, that's true. And that is true. But sometimes in my days, who I really want to be with, if you ask me, I want to hang out with my kids because we clown around, we're silly together. And now they're younger than your kids. I have an 18 and I have a 12-year-old. And they're just they're fun to be with. Sometimes they're more fun than adults to be with, or that's like true. Some friends to be with.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
So what is it about? So the transition of your job from before. How was it like? You started at what position, and then
nag-start ako actually as a building manager, but what comes with the job is that nagsho-shovel ako ng snow, mahilig ako sa hills. Nakakatawa naalala ko kasi mahilig ako sa hills, hindi ko alam na may right position pa pala kung paano magtanggal ng yelo. Alam mo yun, tapos yung driveway, like malaking property driveway, walang heater yung ramp. Alam mo yun, yung parang nagtatanggal ako ng snow, dumudulas na lang ako pababa na nagtatanggal ng yelo. Tapos nakakatawa kasi mabait nga ako sa mga tenant ko noon. Tinuturuan ako kung paano mag-shovel. Minsan sila na yung gumagawa. Sabi ko, ay, ang swerte ko naman.
So sa building manager para ikaw mismo ang kasi pag sa Pilipinas pag sinabi mong building manager, meron kang mga tao na gagawa nun.
Yeah, so kasi yung apartment ko kasama dun sa benefits ko. So kailangan ko rin na magtrabaho. Iba yung setup namin that time. Iba yung setup namin that time. So that time pagka on-call ka, ikaw gagawa ng mga emergency call na pag nag-snow ng weekend mo, kailangan i-clear mo yung ground. So yung husband ko, tsaka ako, kami yung, hindi ako marunong gumamit nung snowblower. Hindi ako marunong maggamit ng snowblower. So talagang di pala ako the entire time. So, alam mo
But is it really easier? I don't know how to use a snowblower either.
Actually, yung snowblower is very easy. Now
that you know how to use it. Why have I been shoveling?
I know. Kasi nung time na yun, yung snowblower, yung mga malalaki na malaki pa sa akin, parang hindi ko kayang i-push. Alam mo yun? So, lucky ako kasi yung asawa ko ang gumagawa nun on my behalf. So, sabi ko, oh my God, parang ayoko na nitong trabaho na to. But But you know what? Kasi nga nung time na yon, hindi ko alam kung paano ako mapopromote. Kaya ang ginagawa ko, nagre-reach out ako sa HR. Sabi ko, paano ba ako magpo-promote? Sabi ko, ano bang dapat kong gawin? Although yung mga kids ko kasi maliliit pa noon, ayoko magbayad ng daycare. Nasa apartment lang sila kasi katabi lang siya ng opisina ko eh. So it works out.
Right.
Until 12 years old sila, that's the time na I kinda,
may work from home ka na nun, kind of set up.
Talagang nasa opisina, bahay, opisina kasi nasa same lab.
It worked out for you, that kind of setup.
It did. Tapos, so kaya ako sinabi ko sa'yo kanina, I moved 10 times. Kasi nag-try ako sa isang, building na nasa mas malaking property. Nag-try ako ng townhouse. Yung nag-test ako ng system namin sa head office, nag-social housing administrator ako. It wasn't an easy thing for me.
But this is a choice for you to move.
Yes.
Pwede.
I have to apply to each one of them.
Okay.
So, when I apply to something, I learn as much as I can and take it. Kasi yung trabaho ko, I learn from experience.
Kasi gusto mo talaga mag-move up. So parang anong pwede dyang applyan, anong pwedeng anuhan.
Oo. Kasi hindi naman dito katulad sa Pilipinas, ipopromote kita.
Oo,
it's not like that.
Mo lang diba?
Yeah. So in here,
papakitang gilas ka lang.
Yes. Dito pagka gusto mo, you have to work hard for it. Diba? You have
Let them know.
Exactly.
And work hard.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter kung kakilala mo o ka-close mo yung boss mo. Pagka may gusto kong gawin, kailangan talagang pagsikapan mo.
Based on merit. Meritocracy.
Yes. Okay. And that's what I like about our company kasi that's fair. It doesn't matter kung gaano katagal ka na sa company, you get your chance if you go for it. So
nakatira ka sa it sounds like a good perk na parang halimbawa nag-manage ka ng apartment, may apartment ka doon.
For a good time.
Manage ka ng townhouse, may townhouse ka doon.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for a certain time only?
Yeah, actually yun. So everything changed, with time talagang nababago yon. So hindi na dumating yung time na hindi ko talaga kayang mag-on-call na yung tawag namin doon on-call. Pagka weekend ka, on-call ka, hindi ko na kaya kasi yung huling property ko noon is townhouse property. So hindi ko kaya magtanggal ng yelo sa buong townhouse. Ang laki-laki, right? So humanap ako ng ibang trabaho sa head office namin. Nakuha naman ako mag-test ng system. Tapos nag-apply ako as social housing administrator. So I know a little bit here and there.
So this is more admin na?
Yes, at that time.
Okay.
Oo. So tapos yun yung time na tanggap din ako ng job sa Colorado. Pero parang third party.
From the
same company. So basically,
so you never had to leave that company to try different positions.
Yes. So third party manager kami noon sa Colorado. Tapos dalawa lang kami nung boss ko na pumunta doon from Canada. Tapos, nag-hire kami doon from within. So, biruin mo yung boss ko. Sinasama niya ako, nag-hire kami ng admin assistant, ng gantong role, ng ganyang role. So, in-expose niya ako sa a different side ng, So, I have so many things to thank for, di ba? Sa mga nakikilala ko. So,
pero nung umalis ka, halimbawa yun, nag-move ka, move ka from city to city, or move ka from Canada to the US. What about the job of your husband?
Yung
and
asawa
the school of your kids?
Swerte actually yung sasawa ko kasi US-based yung company niya. So, siya, yung mga ATM machines, nag-fix siya ng mga ganon. So, siya, technician siya. So, meron dito, meron sa lahat ng lugar, nakakapagpa-transfer lang siya.
So pwedeng mag-request din ng transfer.
Yes. So naka-transfer siya doon.
It's funny how things work out, no?
I know.
Parang, yun naman yung and I also said this in previous podcasts when we hear stories of people and how things work out. It's because sometimes we worry too much about how's our life gonna be, o hindi magiging ganito o ganito. You'll be surprised how things work out.
Exactly.
But these are the things that you don't know when you're making the decision. The decision just feels right, but when it feels right, it's scary and it's really tough to just jump in there. But the ones who have succeeded and the ones who are successful in their lives have blindly followed their heart and their instincts, diba? Because it really is a different ways on how things work out. And I'm I'm a witness and I hear about the stories from my different podcasts, and it's amazing to me hearing how things have worked out in different ways for different people.
That's true. Actually, nung lilipat kami nun sa Canada, parang ako nun parang sabi ko, bakit pa tayo lilipat? Everything is good in here, nandito yung mga friends ko, nandito yung family, nandito lahat.
Yung Colorado, naka-establish kayo.
Sa Philippines. Sa Philippines. Okay. Kaya nung paglipat dito, you know what, ang naisip ko na lang, talagang kung matyaga ka, kung yung siguro yung faith mo rin na andon, lahat yun, it will play an important role kasi you shouldn't be giving up. Dahil like sinabi mo, nakikita ko rin yung mga ibang tao na pumupunta dito na, doktor sila, hindi sila makapag-practice ng gusto nila, but they have to start again from the bottom. Kaya totoo yun hindi ka dapat namimili kung ano yung i-present sa'yo, kung ano yung tulong na makita mo, accept mo. So, I always do that. Kaya, even sa bahay, so, pagkahalimbawa may mga gamit din kami, di ba? Tinatabi lang namin, hindi kami nagtatapon because kapag may bagong dumating, eto, sa'yo to.
Pwedeng tulungan.
Oo, pwedeng tulungan.
Ganyan ang bahay ng mami ko. Yung mami ko dito, hindi nagtatapon.
Oo. So, kasi nga, alam mo yung feeling na nag-start ka, mahirap yung bibilin mo lahat. Yung actually, meron akong friend na dumating siya siguro a couple of years ago. Katrabaho ko siya sa GlaxoSmithKline sa Philippines. So, nung dumating siya dito, laking pasasalamat niya na, sabi niya, uy, buti na lang, nandito ka kasi yung time na paalis siya, ang ginagawa ko kasi pag nagmumove ako ng bahay, dinidispose ko yung mga furniture kasi ayokong magbuhat. So sabi niya, oh my God, yung timing ko perfect. Sabi ko, I know. So
dahil nung time na yun, maglilipat ka?
Nung time na yun, maglilipat ako, kakadating niya. So ibinigay ko sa kanya yung mga gamit.
That's such a blessing.
Tapos, before siya dumating from the Philippines, ready na yung apartment niya kasi dinadrive ko yung London, Ontario. Mga twice siguro ako nag-drive sa London para i-reserve yung unit niya. Kinuhanan ko siya ng money order dito. Yung application niya.
Napakaswerteng maging kaibigan si Rodora kapag lilipat kayo dito sa Toronto, sa Ontario.
Honestly, sometimes kahit hindi ko talaga kakilala, alam mo yun, basta Pilipino, kapag ka, minsan nakikita ko kasi kahit sa mga sites ko, Pilipino sila, uy, hindi ako tinutulungan sa ganito. Ba't ano bang problema? Lika gawin natin. I make it a point that I'm able to help people kasi yung sa business namin ngayon, it's about people's lives. Doon sila nakatira, ito yung buhay nila.
The homes are...
So, improving it is my top priority.
Right.
With whatever means I can.
Imagine yun ang kanilang bahay. That's like their home base.
Exactly.
Kung saan nakaroot yung kanilang family, yung kanilang buhay.
So it's hard kasi nasa middle din ako, di ba? At the same time, business pa rin to. So where do I help? Where can I help? So kailangan ko ring i-adjust.
Balance.
Paano kita matutulungan? Pwede ba? Or, ma-justify ko ba yung help na ibibigay ko?
Sa kumpanya. That's what makes you a gem in the company also. As well as to the people you're helping with, of course. That's a given. But for the company itself, a lot of companies claim to have heart. Kasi magandang PR, claim. Pero few really live up to it. And they need people like you to be able to really translate that into something that their customers feel. That's why you're a gem there. That's why you've been there for 10 years.
16.
16?
So, yes.
Okay.
So, I actually take pride in what I do then, and I'm glad na this company will actually recognize your effort. So, a couple of years ago, I actually won an award din sa company namin. It's the highest award na binibigay nila. It's a legacy award for leadership. So, I think may staff ako na nag-submit ng name ko. So, 3 kami doon yung mga matataas ang position sa head office namin yung mga candidates. So, for some reason, hindi ko ina-expect talaga na sa akin nabigay yung award. So, natutuwa din ako. So, may trip ako sa Amsterdam with my husband.
That's part of like the prize. That's good. And it's good to hear that at least in your company or maybe in a lot of companies here in Canada that they do reward efforts and this kind of this kind of leadership and yung dedication na binibigay mo sa kanila. Syempre hindi rin biro naman what you give to them eh. Fine, they're recognizing you, but what you give to them is also.
Yeah, actually very stressful yung job ko. Hindi man ako pumupunta all the time sa site. It's a 24/7 job. So kung halimbawa may nangyaring fire sa gabi, I have to go to the site. Kailangan mag-represent ako doon, ano ko yung yung mga preparation kung paano gagawin. So there are cases din na makakakita kami na mga tenant na namatay na sa loob ng apartment nila. Kaya lang namin nalalaman kasi tumunog na yung carbon monoxide detector. So ibig sabihin matagal na pala sila doon. So those are the things na nagbe-break talaga yung heart ko kasi biruin mo several months walang naghahanap sa taong to. So yun yung parang sabi ko, ay, ang swerte ko kasi I have family. That's why iba yung pamilya, iba yung culture natin sa Filipino, di ba? Yung parang hinahanap mo, si ate, naandyan ba si ate? Kamusta si ate, di ba?
Hindi lalagpas ang
Yeah, so
2 days, 3 days na walang maghahanap sa'yo.
I think kaya yung award ko din, the first award ko na nakuha sa company, yung site manager of the award, what happened there is because yung building na yun, maraming matatanda doon. So yun yung mga tipong tinatawagan ko, once a week or
really?
twice a week. Chine-check ko sila.
This is not part of your job.
No, it's not.
I don't think it's
not. So yung isang matagal nang nakatira doon, kaya ako na panalunan yung award na yun. Sabi ko sa kanya, pwede mo ba akong gawa ng recommendation na isasubmit? So isa lang siya na hiningan ko. Lahat ng kakilala niya sa building, hiningan niya. So I think I ended up with 25 recommendations na
for that award
yung sa nung nirepresent ko yung company sa site manager of the year. So tapos nung umalis din ako doon, iba yung feeling na itong mga tenants na to, eto para pag nag-start ka, sa'yo na tong gamit na to, sa'yo na tong kwintas na to, sa'yo na tong ganito. Sabi ko, naku, hindi na po, alam mo yan, yung parang ayaw mo talaga kasi na syempre nakakahiya naman na na ako kasi yung type na mas gusto ko yung nagbibigay kesa yung ako yung binibigyan.
Pareho yung uncomfortable sa yung
hindi ako komportabling tumanggap.
But it should be two-way no? Are you learning how to do that now? How to receive graciously?
Yeah, slowly I'm trying. But mas komportable talaga ako na magbigay. Yung halimbawa, during COVID, syempre ang hirap nun kasi hindi ko masyadong ma-meet yung mga staff ko. So, naggagawa ako ng mga program sa kanila na, magkakaroon tayo ng super selfie day. Sinong pinaka nakakatawang selfie using your, PPEs, may price. Kasi mahilig ako mag-shopping sa mga warehouse sales. So, yung mga nakukuha ko, ibinibigay ko na price. Small things.
But this is from you, not from the company.
From me. So, hindi siya galing sa company. So, ibinibigay ko siya, out of the kindness of my heart. Kasi gusto ko rin na maging, kahit during COVID, kahit mahirap, gusto ko yung communication nandun, yung masaya pa rin yung mga staff ko, na nag-i-interact kami kahit by text or by WhatsApp.
Ganito ka na ba dati? Or is this born because of the hardships that you felt starting here in a new country?
Honestly, kasi I didn't start, naman na, mayaman. Talagang I came from humble beginnings. So, nung lumalaki ako, namatay yung dad ko when I was like 10 years old. So, my mom, she had to go abroad. Nagtrabaho siya for a long time hanggang makatapos ako ng college. So, I grew up with my 2 older brothers.
So, you were away from your mom for a long
sa mga tito-tita ko. So, it's been a tough childhood. Kaya nga sabi ko, pagkakausapin ko yung mga kaibigan ko ngayon, kasi alam nila mahilig ako sa damit, mahilig ako sa bag. Sabi nila, why do you always do that? I said, you know what you don't understand, kasi nung bata ako, siguro yung hand-me-downs ko sa mga kuya ko, mukha akong tomboy. Tomboy. Kaya Dodi yung nickname ko nung bata ko. Kasi lagi ako napagsuntukan.
Yeah, Dodi is a boy's nickname. So, pero magaling ka makipagsuntukan. So,
kay Dodi Boy Peñalosa, siya yung sikat nun.
The boxer. Yeah. Okay.
Yung lolo ko, Indian siya. So, siya yung nag-start magtawag sa akin, Dodi. So, okay, Dodi. So, ganun ako. So, ngayon, what people don't understand is that siguro nag-i-invest ako, malaki yung ginagastos ko sa mga bag. Pero ang hindi nila naintindihan is yung profit na nakukuha ko doon because those are investments for me. So, meron akong Well, it's not really a big business, but I buy and sell yung Chanel, yung Hermes,
okay.
yung mga
Kasi,
high-end.
you know, when people tell me that also, na parang investment to, I have friends who like, you know, buying expensive stuff. And feeling ko, when they say investment to, feeling ko excuse nila para
it's really true.
Bumili.
Yeah,
so sabi, sige, investment.
Tinataasan ako ng kilay.
Oo, wala naman ako nakikitang binibenta mo. Sige na nga. Kasi everything is still with you.
Yeah.
Or maybe, say, hindi, later on, para sa daughter ko, para pag dalaga na siya. Or siguro nga,
but
vintage na.
you know how it is. Because, halimbawa, meron akong bag na binili sa Chanel. 3 years ago, it was $6,000. So, every year, nag-i-increase sila ng price. So, right now, yung $6,000 na purse na binili ko, right now, it's like at $18,000.
But how much can you resell it? Because it's already...
I can sell it for more. So, really? I got it for $6,000. I'll sell it for $8,000 to $10,000.
Sa bagay, mas mura pa rin siya dun sa ano.
Yes.
It's pre-loved, but it's higher.
Yeah, so even for the clothes, so sometimes bumibili ako ukay-ukay, diba? So I know my brand. So halimbawa bumili ako ng ganto. So nabili ko siya ng $50 dun sa parang, you know, sa parang ukay-ukay dito na version. Tapos kapag ayoko na siya, dinadala ko siya sa consignment shop. Uy, nabenta nila ng $300 yung $50 na binili ko. Eh hati kami doon. So $150. So sabi ko, na triple pa rin yung money ko.
May mga ganun dito, consignment shop where you bring, usap tayo pagkatapos ng podcast.
Sabihin ko sa'yo. Sabihin ko sa'yo.
Okay. That's super interesting. Did you have this entrepreneurial, did you have a knack for this beforehand? Like when you were a kid?
I used to do pharmaceutical sales. So sales is my background. So, you know, but yung
pero
passion
iba yun
ko for...
kasi parang empleyado ka dun. Ito yung parang ibang diskarte to eh.
Yeah, this is my passion. So, ang ginagawa ko kasi gusto ko tong item na to. So, ang binibili ko na items are things na kung hindi ko mabenta, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, if it stays with me, I love it.
Gusto ko siya. Right? Kung walang bibili nito, okay lang. Pero kung may gustong bumili, ito yung price na gusto ko. Kung hindi nila gusto yun, hindi.
Yan yung magandang selling mindset or selling mind space. Kasi hindi ka forced. Kumbaga, hindi sa pangangailangan for now. Akala ko kanina sasabihin mo, kaya... ang hindi nila naiintindihan is that's why I buy all these things now was because I couldn't afford it when I was younger.
I couldn't afford it, but I make money from it as well. So,
from it as
actually,
well now.
Nakakatawa kasi dati, nagpo-post, mas active ako nagbebenta ng mga purses. So, may mga groups sa Facebook, ganyan na magme-member ka doon, mag-post ka, may buyer, i-PayPal mo, pag fully paid na, tsaka may ship. So, ngayon, actually, yung mga purses ko, I don't have to sell them. I have a few friends na na-meet ko dahil sa bag.
Hindi mo na kaya. You don't have to go farther than your circle now.
Sila na lang yung magsasabi, uy, akin na lang yan ha, hulugan ko. So, magkano na nga bilhin mo dyan? 5,000 bili ko dito. 6,000, hulugan ko 6 months. Sige. Alam mo yun, yung parang ganun. So,
how does your closet look like?
May isang basement ako, puno ng clothes, shoes na sa akin lang. Pati yung meron kaming isa pang taguan sa ilalim ng
iba pa yung basement. Iba pa yung separate storage.
Yeah. Actually, marami akong damit. Yung daughter ko na-appreciate niya ngayon kasi nagtatrabaho na siya sa pharmacy. And then sabi niya sa akin the other day, sabi niya, Mom, ang tawag dito, I need to shop in your closet. Kasi napapansin daw niya, siya lang yung naka-anime na t-shirt sa trabaho, kailangan niya ng formal. Tapos,
so she has to look more now, more professional.
Yes. Kaya nagugustuhan ko naman kasi sometimes sasabihin niya, ma'am, ang dami kong compliments na nakuha. Bakit? Kasi yung outfit mo suot ko.
And that's the best compliment for you, right?
Yes.
For a mom na parang, my
kasi
daughter
hindi
looks
lahat
good in her.
Gusto yung damit ng nanay niya, di ba?
Exactly. So, how do you describe your sense of style?
I am very fashion forward talaga ako. So I do look at brands. I do look at, not because I can afford it, but because, I know how to make money from it. So, alam kong paikutin yung mga gamit ko. So, I can buy from Kijiji, I can buy them brand new. Pero, alam ko na pag binili ko yung certain item, alam ko nakikita ako dito. Ganon. So,
at saka yun nga yung magandang fashion sense, yung marunong mag-combine nung mga binili sa ukay-ukay, yung mga first-hand na designer outfits. Kasi it's you making it's your canvas, and then you're the one designing it from what you have. It doesn't matter if it's the cheapest one or the most expensive one. What item right now are you coveting? What do you have your sights on? Parang ito yung
actually,
next na gusto mong bilhin.
Actually, may trip ako sa Europe, and ang plan ko talaga, hindi ko alam kung familiar ka sa Hermes. So yung Hermes, usually kailangan mo mag-build ng profile. So, kailangan gumastos ka ng marami sa mga bagay na hindi mo gusto bago ka ma-offera ng bag. Kaya pag halimbawa yung price ng bag doon, 10,000, mabibenta mo ng 25,000 to 29,000. So
you get the first offer?
Hindi ako nakakakuha ng offer sa sales associate ko dito kasi I did not purchase enough. Hindi ako bumili ng hindi ko alam kung pwede kong i-broadcast yun. Pero kailangan mo ng history bago makabili. Kaya marami pumupunta sa Vegas or sa Paris kasi doon usually nakakachamba ka. So kaya hindi pa alam ng asawa ko, so malalaman niya siguro pagkapanood niya nito na ang plan ko kaya kami Amsterdam tapos pupunta kami ng Paris is because gusto kong bumili ng bag.
Oh, wow.
Actually, nagkaroon naman na ako ng mga bag na yun. Hindi ko siya biniling brand new. Binili ko siya second hand, which is actually mas mahal pa kaysa sa brand new.
Oh,
bakit?
Okay.
Kasi, yun nga, kasi kino-consider doon na pag binili mo yung bag na yun, na pre-love, ibig sabihin yung original na owner nun, gumastos siya ng 50,000 to 100,000 in 1 year para ma-offera ng bag na yun.
Right.
So, kaya yung 10,000 na bag nila, nabebenta nila yun ng 20, 25, 29. Depende
pa
kung
rin sila, parang ganon.
Parang lugi pa rin sila, but it's their lifestyle, kumbaga.
Right.
So, kung,
ang galing din ang ginawa nilang marketing doon. Pero, there's also this thing now. Do you believe in that? The decline of the designer mentality? Yung parang ngayon, even you're the one who's more knowledgeable about this. So, parang even the luxury brands are having to rethink, having to pivot their marketing strategies because they're saying the golden age of that kind of lifestyle is changing.
Yeah. Right now, ang masasabi ko lang because I'm in the pre-love market, for example, dahil nagbabuy and sell nga ako, and may friend din ako na may business na, bigger business, yung decline talaga ng sales, bumababa. So masasabi mo talaga the inflation is true na talagang maraming tao nahihirapan right now. So kumbaga ako kasi halimbawa dito yung client ko right now, masasabi ko na mas marami bumibili sa US kasi yung value ng US dollar nila is higher. So talaga nagde-decline na rin siya, I guess. But you're right, they're changing the strategy. Napapansin ko halimbawa sa Chanel, for example, naiiba na rin yung pattern ng kung paano sila magbenta sa mga tao. Parang fina-follow na rin nila yung business strategy ng Hermes because it works for them, right? But right now, masasabi ko lang, nag-i-increase pa rin sila ng presyo. Marami pa rin ang gustong bumili right now pag available because they know na yung price hindi bumababa.
Right.
Lagi lang siyang tumataas.
And that the market, the concentration of the market who can afford that is still strong.
Exactly.
Right.
But as an example, nung nasa Pilipinas ako, kasi nga medrep ako, pag meron ako nakuhang bonus, bumibili ako ng second hand na Speedy, halimbawa na Louis Vuitton. Ang bili ko lang noon parang $250. Nag-start ako na, nung pagbalik ko dito, $250. Oh yeah, US dollars. Okay. So pagpunta ko dito ng Canada, nabenta ko yung $250 na yun ng $600. So, kumita na rin yung money ko. Although, mahirap kasi dahil nga, malaking money yung ini-invest mo. So, I only have 1 or 2 purses at the time, na pinapaikot ko. So
ang galing mo magbenta. I mean, sales is really, is this something that you
I just love it. Just because I love it.
Anong course ang kinuha mo? Anong
international program? Studies yung ibang-iba. No? International studies saka sa Miriam College. So, yeah.
Okay. So, and then you were pharmaceutical ever since?
Napunta ako sa pharmaceutical industry. Actually, nag-PLDT muna ako. So, nung ko na-meet yung husband ko. Mo. Tapos, nag-ano ako ng pharmaceutical. Naiinis ako sa kanya kasi sunod sa akin.
In a nutshell, pakikwento yung love story ng husband mo.
So, imaginein mo na, babae ka, nagtatrabaho ka sa PLDT na majority lalaki. So, eto, na-meet ko siya, pinakilala siya sa akin nung boss ko doon. So, na siya, may position na rin siya doon sa PLDT. Tapos, nung una niya ako ma-meet, hindi na tumigil yan ng kasusunod sa akin. So, kumbaga, kapag halimbawa, pauwi na ako, yung boss ko tatawag sa kanya na, uy, pauwi na si Dodi. So, nakaabang na yan sa sakayan sa Makati.
May may accomplice pa na magtitip
So, nasa Makati. Tapos, ihahatid na ako niyan sa Taytay, which was like, 3 hours, 4 hours away. Tapos, tsaka siya uuwi sa Cubao kasi Cubao siya nakatira. Tapos, nakakatawa kasi ayoko sa kanya nun dahil nga sabi ko, ang tanda naman. Ay, nakumaklagot ako sa asawa ko nito. Ang tanda, ayoko. Over my dead body.
How many years older than
14 years older siya sa akin.
14 years, okay.
Oo, so hindi siya tumigil na, siguro, ang daming beses ko siyang binasted. Pero naandun pa rin siya palagi.
Matindi rin ang determination ni husband.
Pero mo Saturday na nasa bahay ako, tatawag yan. Kaya kami nagkaroon ng telepono sa street namin dahil sa akin. Kasi kinabitan niya ako ng telepono. Tapos, siya lang may alam nung number.
Ano yung mga panahon na yung landline?
Landline. Oo, nang hirap makakuha ng landline, di ba?
Tapos PLDT siya, so ginamit niya yung kanyang powers.
So, nag-ano siya doon. Ako lang yung may telepono sa street namin.
Okay.
Tumatawag. Hindi ko alam yung phone number. So, nung tumawag siya, sabi niya, hello. Sabi niya, Rojel, bakit? Sabi ko gano'n. Sabi niya, paano mo alam na ako? Hindi ko nga alam yung phone number. Hindi ko nga alam yung phone number. Sabi ko, ikaw lang may alam. Sabi ko gano'n. Tapos sabi niya, kumain ka na ba? Sabi niya, hindi pa, bakit? Tapos meron na nagdi-deliver na Pizza Hut. So, binayaran niya sa Makati. Tapos pinadeliver niya, na-deliver sa Taytay. Ganun.
Wow.
So, that's...
Wala pang Uber Eats?
Wala pang Uber Eats noon. Wala pang...
Paano yung delivery nun?
Hindi ko alam kung paano niya ginawa. Pero,
so, what made you... Because you said you weren't interested in the beginning. Ano yung nag-change?
Alam mo yung persistence niya siguro.
Definitely the persistence. There's
matyaga.
Something about that na parang he wants me this much.
I know. Actually, may basketball team, sasabihan niya yung buong team na, oy, walang didiskarte dyan kay Dodi Lagot kayo kay Mr. Dorado. Ganun. So, may mga kaibigan ako na lalaki. Sabi ko, ba't hindi niyo ako kinakausap? Alam mo yun? Bawal. Off limits ka. Alam mo yun? Parang ganun.
Wow.
So, nakita mo rin yung kung paano siya sa family niya. Kung paano niya alagaan yung parents niya. Kung paano siya magmahal sa mga kapatid niya. So, I guess isa yun. Dahil very loving siya. Naku, matutuwa yun. siya ang topic. Yeah, so, yun yung...
Let's give him that na marinig naman niya.
He's a very, very good guy and siguro nga, lucky ako to have him.
And I'm sure he's lucky also. Ano naman sinasabi niya about you? Why did he pursue you that strongly?
Sabi niya ako daw humabol sa kanya.
Siyempre, iba yung story.
Iba yung story niya.
Interview ko dito.
Sabi niya ako daw yung naghabol sa kanya. Pero,
he was never married?
No. So, alam ko nga noon, ang tawag sa kanya sa PLDT, Playboy, kasi lahat ng naging nurse doon, naging girlfriend niya. Nagliparan sa Amerika, alam mo yun. Basta may bago doon, yun ang girlfriend niya. Pero nung naging kami naman, he's been really, really good. So, yeah. Swerte ko.
So that's great. It seems like you've been through so much and you have this attitude of gratitude and kindness. You're saying I believe that also na parang hindi mo naman actually when I do things na mga ganyan, hindi na ako nag-expect na meron naman. Kasi kung hindi man sa akin bumalik yan, ibabalik niya yan sa ibang tao. Ibabalik niya yan. Or maybe not in my generation, hopefully in my kids' generation, something will happen that will be a fruit of that kindness that you did that particular time. What are your what are your current observations? Like right now, your life you're pretty much settled. You sound like you're financially stable, comfortable. What are your takeaways from before and what are your current challenges? So ngayon, you've gone through all those diba? All those trials and you're pretty much okay. Yeah.
So actually sa akin ang feeling ko medyo nagiging comfortable ako. So what I'm saying is that I love where I'm working, I love where I'm at. Na parang kahit merong ino-offer sa akin na bago na role, parang ano naman ako, parang ay ayoko. So like recently, merong magandang position na na-offer sa akin na, they're willing to change yung title to adjust to my current title. Pero ako, ayoko.
Is this from the same company or
No,
another,
it's a different
another
company. It's a different company na nag-offer sa akin ng job. So siguro, hindi ko alam kung I'm trying to kind of hold off to what I can potentially do more.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's what do you call this? Parang hindi ko alam kung self-sabotage ko yung sarili ko na komportable na ako dito. Kasi nakikita ko rin na maraming ibang tao na pumupunta sa iba't ibang company kung sinong mag-offer sa kanila ng mas malaki, dun sila. So hindi ko alam kung bakit, hindi ko alam kung yung loyalty ko is very, sigurado ka ba na
that you're gonna decline this.
Yeah, right now siguro ang hurdles ko na lang is yung sa work-wise, maraming challenges sa trabaho, like yung mga crimes na, kung ano nangyayari sa mga site mo na kailangan mong mag-make ng decision. And sometimes you're not sure if it's the right choice or not. How do you come up with a really good choice? And siguro, the thing na I'm looking forward to naman sa trabaho ko is that I like bringing people to the job na gusto nila. So, meron akong, ano ba yun? It's not a struggle for me, but I feel that it's more of my success, I guess. Na nakikita ko yung mga nagtrabaho under me na mas maganda na yung role nila sa company, na dinadirect ko sila sa right position for them.
Mm-hmm.
So yun. So ang struggle for me is how can I even help more?
Yeah, you're at that stage already where you're giving back, you're mentoring, you're trying to help other people. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's also the reason. And that's very real. And I'm glad you shared that na at a certain point, you have decisions to make and you're not sure whether this is the right decision. You said in the crimes that happen in your property, for example, or even in job offers outside that they're offering you seemingly more pay or a higher position. I believe kasi that I just have thoughts about that while you were saying it. Na at a certain point, you have to balance whether how much you wanna improve yourself and how much do you want to really reap the rewards of what you have worked hard for. Yeah. And at a certain point, I had a boss before who I looked up to even before I entered the company because he was a known figure. He's very respected. And then he was the one who got me into this company. And I was starstruck and I was annoyed. And then he was our boss and he was consistently telling us in every meeting, never rest on your laurels. You're only as good as your last work. And So I looked up to this person and that drilled into my head. And I was like, but something inside of me was resisting that. I know that I wanted to be the best version of myself all the time, but at a certain point, not having to celebrate your achievements or your glories. Na parang, pag meron akong ginawang magaling, lagi ko naisip, you can't even celebrate that. Next, anong gagawin mong magaling? Kasi yun yung sabi niya. Pero iniisip ko, sandali, wait. I wanna bask in this. Yeah. I worked hard for this, man. I'm not gonna let other people stop me from saying, good job, Cherry, because I'm not expecting that from my bosses. I came from a culture where they don't do that in a company in the Philippines. So I've learned to tap myself in the back and say, you did a good job based on your own principles, based on your own values. It might not be based on theirs, but who cares? It's my life. It's my, it's my story. I chart my course. And after that, then when I'm ready, I'm going to go for my next kill. Right? So parang, I guess, and it's very real. Like at your level now of at your level in the company, you still struggle with decisions. And that's good for the younger people to know because you'll never really be you'll never get to that point where you're very sure about your life. Di ba? Lahat yan, kahit
walang
sabihin
sigurado.
nila. Oo, na parang hindi porke boss mo yan or hindi porke yung pinakamagaling or pinakamatanda na in the company, they know what they're doing. No, we're just big kids.
Yeah, exactly. And isa pa siguro yung, ang gusto ko rin kasi yung halimbawa pag meron ako na staff na nagre-report sa akin, hindi ko talaga sila tinitreat na parang, na parang superior ako sa'yo or something, na gawin mo yung sinasabi ko. Hindi, kumbaga, I treat them like, normal, like, you're my friend, let's do this. Kasi I find na mas mahirap mag-control ng, ng tao. Mahirap mag-micromanage ng tao. So, isa yun sa siguro mahirap din na gawin. Yung kapag may nagre-report sa'yo, paano mo i-handle yung different personalities.
Right.
So, I just try to treat them na, pag nagkamali sila na, I want you to learn from it. Pero, ayoko nang, kumbaga, pukpukin pa kita ng sobra dahil nagkamali ka na nga. I just, make it, how can you remember this na hindi mo nagagawin siya ulit?
Now I see what that person, that mutual friend that we know sees in you. Na parang why did he refer you to me in this podcast? You seem to have this, because a lot of leaders in companies are very theoretically good at what they think, or they're intelligent. They can present PowerPoint presentations that will floor any board, members. But it's managing the people every day.
Exactly.
Yun yung mahirap. Ask any boss. They're handling 3 people or 3,000 people. It's managing them every day. And that seems to be your gift.
Actually, it is important to be able to manage people without them realizing that you're managing them. Right? So, ako kasi yung parang, like I said, I come to you na, I'm sincere there. Alam mo kung kailan ako, upset. Kung kailan ako, okay. Very, very, makikita mo agad sa mukha ko. Hindi ako makapagsinungaling sa kanila. Kapag masama yung loob ko, alam nila. Alam mo yun. Pero the good thing is that pag may maganda kang relationship sa mga katrabaho mo, i-treat mo sila ng tama, you get the same back. So
what message can you give to our viewers?
Never give up. So, hindi lahat ipepresent sa'yo na madali in a silver platter. So, you have to work hard kung anong gusto mong ma-achieve. And, kapag naggawa ka ng decision, stick to it and work hard to achieve it. Because, like I said, lahat ng fruits of that labor will come later on. You may not see it now, pero in the future, kung ano yung tinanim mo, yun makukuha mo.
What has made it worth it? What has made all the sacrifices?
Actually, seeing how my kids inhere yung medical benefits for my daughter, yung mga, yung peace of mind for me na naandito na yung mama ko, Canadian na yung mama ko, I don't have to worry about, that side. Yun yung pinaka-importante. Health benefits, your, people you meet, giving importance to, to life, like celebrating each day. Ewan ko, ganun lang yung personality ko. Masayahin talaga akong tao. So, kahit minsan, grabe na yung situation, nakasmile pa rin ako. So, I smile through my struggles.
Because that it's going to end.
Yeah.
I think, no? Thank you so much, Ro. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did.
Yeah.
I really find you very, very admirable. And it's so, just nice to talk to you. Parang you have that vibe na the positivity is very apparent. So that ends another podcast episode. I hope you join us again next time as we try to get to know another Filipino Canadian dito sa ating Cherry Mercado podcast. Bye!